Hello and welcome to the first episode of my new podcast, Going Through the Cupboard. Now, if you clicked on this video, you probably already know me, Usualfork, but yeah, you may still be wondering what actually is Going Through the Cupboard. And that's kind of what this first episode is here to clear up. First off, I'd like to preface this entire thing by saying that I don't actually have any idea on what I'm actually doing. I'm just hoping I'm gonna figure this out as I do it. But yeah, just so you know, I got no clue what the fuck I'm doing. But to give you basically just a kind of rundown on what this even is. If you are like a Wilbur viewer, as if you're watching this, you most likely are, or well, you at least are aware of Wilbur. Then you might also know of his podcast I did at some point called Hey and Stuff, where he basically just sat down, hit the record button, and just rambled about random stuff he was interested in at the time and topics that he just generally cared about. Now, that podcast just ended after 3 episodes, which of course a lot of people weren't happy about, since a lot of people, me included, really enjoyed that. But if you've seen Hey and Stuff, or just know of the concept, then that's basically how this podcast is gonna end up as well. I'm basically just gonna sit down for I don't know how long, just whatever I want, hit the record button, talk about whatever topic I want to talk about that day, and just upload it like that. In short, the big thing is, which I don't think Wilbur did it like this, but yeah, the big thing what I want to do with this is that I don't want to edit this podcast at all. Everything that you hear, every little mistake, like I said, everything, it's going to be unedited. I'm just gonna hit the record button to speak, and then just upload it. So if there are like way too many things that have just gone wrong in a singular recording, then I could I'm not allowing myself to just edit it. If like way too many things go wrong to the point that it's barely even watchable, then I am just going to completely scrap that recording. Now the thing is, and one big thing that I'm at least a bit worried about with this entire thing is the length of the episodes. Because despite streaming for like almost I'm looking at the calendar and it's been exactly 4 months since I started streaming. Since I'm recording this on the 7th of May, and I started streaming on the 7th of April, but yeah, I won't go off topic. Yeah. The length is what I'm worried about, because yeah, like, while I have been streaming for a while now, meaning I have gotten kind of used and better at just talking about random topics. The thing is, on stream, I can just switch from one topic to another. Meanwhile, here on this podcast, I plan on just sticking to a topic actually. Because in general, doing streaming, I find myself really fucking often just going off track and changing topics in the middle of just a story or something. That's also kind of what I want to try not doing here. I want to start the episode with a topic and stick with that one topic the entire way. Like today's topic is basically just me kind of telling you guys what I'm even doing here, what my plan is, but yeah. I want to try and stick to one topic and not go off topic too much. Which, on the some topics that I've planned for the future, I feel like I could definitely do a good amount of, but others I just feel like they're gonna be a bit too short. I'm probably still gonna upload them, but if just don't expect this to be like your average podcast length of like anywhere between 30 to 2 hours, which is like the average in my opinion. Yeah, I'm probably gonna be doing like episodes as well that are gonna be like 10 minutes. Like this one, I feel like the maximum, the absolute maximum I feel like this could be would be 20 minutes. Makes sense, it's not really an intensive topic today. Like I said, this is mostly just serving as an introduction to going through the cupboard. But yeah, that's that I think for the most part. One thing that I also want to talk about is why I decided on actually doing this podcast. Thing is, on one hand, like I said, of course, beforehand, I really, really fucking liked Hay and Stuff, Wilbur's old podcast. And yeah, he did only stop after 3 episodes, so there really wasn't much content. And I was hoping that for some people at least, I could at least like fill that hole that Hay and Stuff stopping left for them. And I feel like you can also just see a lot of the influences I got from Hay and Stuff. But I don't know, I feel like the quirks that I bring to the table are just gonna develop after a certain while. Since this, in general, everything so far has just been kind of spontaneously decided. One time I was just like, hey, I kind of want to do a podcast, Hey and Stuff style. I just threw all of this together, of the designs, channel and everything. And here I am. Pretty much. And yeah, another reason why I actually decided that I want to do this was, and I'd like to preface this by saying I have not gotten a proper diagnosis, which is why I'm not going around calling myself autistic or anything officially. But I am like very, very sure that I'm at least partly autistic. I just show so many signs, and yeah. And with autism or the symptoms of autism that I'm showing, go stuff like hyperfixation and stuff that I could fucking info dump on for hours. Thing is, I don't really like info dumping to other people because I feel like it'd just be kind of annoying them and stuff. So I'm gonna be using going through the cupboard as kind of like an outlet to basically info dump stuff on. Like I said earlier, I've got like a list of topics that I plan on doing episodes on in the future. And yeah, all of the ones that I've written down so far are all just things that I'm fucking interested in and I really want to talk about. I don't think I'm going to be talking about the specific things that I actually have written down. We'll just have to wait until the episodes come out, but yeah. One thing that I'm also planning on doing that Wilbur didn't enhance stuff is guest episodes. As you might know if you watch literally any other podcast beside this one, usually podcasts tend to have quite a lot of actually of guest episodes where they just get other people on and talk about stuff. Now you may be thinking, Max Usualfork, Going Through the Cupboard is a solo podcast, right? Then how are you gonna be doing guest episodes, especially since a lot of the episodes are gonna be like based around your hyperfixation and things that you're interested in? Well, oops, sorry, I hit my mic. But yeah, pretty much I've got a few topics that other people that I know are also interested in. And if I see like a big enough overlap in that and I feel like it's worth it, then I might actually just get the person on it as well. For example, of the topics that I've written down in my little document, I have like 1 or 2 topics that I'm definitely gonna make a guest episode out of. I don't want to like I said, I want to spoil. I don't want to spoil anything really when it comes to my future topics. You've just gotta wait on that one, I guess. And yeah, also another thing that I want to talk about in this introductory episode is upload schedule. Actually, when it comes to my streams and in general, quite a lot of the kind of content that I create, I usually just tend to go for a set in stone upload schedule, so people know when they can expect new stuff from me. And for this as well, I originally intended on maybe uploading like 1 episode a week or something like that. Maybe, I don't know. But after doing some more thinking, I've decided against that idea. Because, like I said, with basically everything that I do online has some sort of schedule. Some of them people online know I'm public with, others I'm not. But pretty much everything that I'm doing has like a set schedule. So I thought just having one, like adding another project on top of everything that I've already been doing, meaning adding a whole nother schedule on top of the already existing ones. I wasn't too big a fan of that, not gonna lie. Because then I'd be basically having my entire week planned out, being like, on that day I have to do that thing, then that, on that day I have to do that. So I thought just having one project that I'm kind of just working without any set in stone schedule, so basically whenever, doing it just whenever I want. That just sounded kinda good, I guess. Thing is, well, because of that, like changeable upload schedule, I guess. Well, no, upload schedule since I don't have one, but yeah, since I don't have a set way upload, that also means that if I'm just not feeling this podcast for a little while, I might just not upload for weeks or even months on end. But one thing that I can promise, like I said, I'm just completely promising this, is that no matter what, I'm not quitting or throwing away or anything this podcast whatsoever until I've done at least 4 episodes. Just so I can trump Wilbur. Since Hay and stuff ended after only 3 episodes. And I just want to beat him on that. I want to have more episodes of my solo hyperfixation focused podcast than Wilbur does, just to fucking beat him. So yeah, after that 4th episode in theory, I could basically just completely quit this podcast if I really wanted to. I mean, I'm most likely not gonna unless I just absolutely end up hating this. But yeah. And also about the upload schedule, I feel like in the beginning I might actually just go through maybe once a week, maybe more, maybe a little less. We'll see. Just because I have that many ideas for episodes and things I want to talk about, guests I want to get on. But I feel like as this podcast goes on, my upload schedule is probably gonna decrease just because I don't have as many topics. I'm running out of people to get on, stuff like that. And I really don't want to force any of this, really. In general, this podcast really is just completely a passion project. When it comes to streaming, streaming is also definitely still a passion project for me for sure. Otherwise, I would just quit if I were like miserable doing it. But even then, when it comes to streaming, I at least care a little bit about numbers and stuff. No matter how many times I try telling myself that, hey, I don't care about the numbers at all whatsoever, 0. That's always just at least a little bit of a lie. I'm always gonna care about numbers at least a tad. That's just with streaming in general. I don't feel like there is a single streamer that cares about numbers at all. And not care about numbers at all. That's what I mean. I don't like, you know what, I'm actually noticing I'm getting off track, and yeah, I'm sticking to the topic that's the entire thing this podcast is about. But yeah, basically, going through the cupboard really is just nothing but a passion project for me. If I just don't feel like doing it at all or anything, then I'm just not gonna do that. L to people who enjoy it, I guess, but that's the one thing that I'm standing by, 100%. I think I feel like I'm getting close to the end, but one thing that I want to talk about as well is, where did I get the name Going Through the Cupboard from? Now, you may be thinking that there's like some deep meaning behind it on like a philosophical level or anything. Not really. But I guess I can go through it. Well, first off, when I came up with it, it was basically just random. Like I already had the idea of starting a podcast, a sort of podcast like this one for a while. But in general, I'm just not great at coming up with names. That goes for this one as well. So I asked on Twitter multiple times if people had like any ideas for names and stuff that I could go with. None of which were really any good in my personal opinion. I'm sorry to people who recommended, but I personally just didn't like them. Then one day, I think this must have been like last Thursday, maybe. I was just sitting on a bus home from school when I came up with the name Going Through the Cupboard. What I mean with the name is like if you know how you're like looking through your fridge to find something good to eat and stuff like that. But I meant it in kind of that way. You're just looking through your cupboards, looking for something that you enjoy. And the things that I enjoy in this case would be the hyperfixations and just general interests that I talk about on this podcast. So I'm going through the cupboard to find the topics I talk about. If you get what I mean. Because things in general, when I first thought of creating a name for this podcast, I didn't want to just be like something completely unrelated. I didn't want to be just called, I don't know, fucking the table or something like that. That just made no sense whatsoever. I wanted there to be at least like a small extent of wordplay involved to an extent. And yeah, that's how I came up with going through the cupboard. A few other friends and stuff actually gave me some recommendations as well. And while I'm talking, let me actually just pull them up. But yeah, hold on, I'm just scrolling. I'm scrolling through Twitter DMs right now. Give me a second. Uh, wait, I'm close. Yeah, Sage but not green, a good friend of mine, actually. Like when I first told them my idea of calling it going through the cupboard, like the best contender, I guess, was Sage but not green's variation, a good friend of mine, of roaming through the cupboard, which that was a good idea actually, but I've personally just vibed with going through the cupboard a lot more, and there were other recommendations as well on the good old twitter.com, but I'm not sure I'm gonna be able to just quickly pull them up right now. But yeah, let me think right now. Is there anything else that should be in this kind of introductory episode of talk about why I'm doing this, how I came up with the stuff, the ideas and things I want to talk about? I've oh yeah. One last thing that most definitely gonna be the last thing I'm gonna talk about is that this podcast I'm gonna be pretty much completely serious on this podcast. If you've been in my streams, then you know that I do usually like cracking jokes and everything. I'm trying my best to be funny, even though most of the time it doesn't work. But on this podcast, I'm just gonna be completely serious. I'm not really gonna be doing many jokes and stuff. For the most part, I'm just gonna be sitting here actually just speaking my thoughts about different things, opinions that I have. And some of the topics that I do want to talk about at some point are actually a bit more serious as well. So, and a bit more dark, I guess. So yeah, those I'm definitely not really gonna be making jokes at all, since like I said, those are gonna be serious topics that deserve all of the respects that they can get, I think. Like I said, I don't wanna go into what those topics actually are, but yeah. And I think that should be about it for this first introductory episode, I think. There isn't really much else to say. Next episode is gonna be about a specific topic I'm interested about, like I said. And yeah, we're almost at exactly 20 minutes now, which I think, yeah, that's a good place to leave it off actually, since yeah. So, I just for the record, I am just going to end the recording, just immediately dump it onto YouTube, so you guys can enjoy. But yeah, hope despite this not really being an interesting topic or anything, but mostly just exposition, I still hope you enjoyed. and I hope to hear you listening into the next episode. So, goodbye. Hope you have a nice day.